Today we'll cover the series My Life as a Teenage Robot from start to end in detail.
Get a call to go blading at the skate park down by
The show revolves around the life of a 16-year-old robot girl named XJ9, or also known as Jenny Wakeman. She was created by Dr. Nora Wakeman, a brilliant scientist, to be powerful, state-of-the-art teenage robot whose only job is to save the world from threats. Dr. Noah also created 8 other XJ prototypes, hence the name XJ9, until she finally perfected her creation. These 8 sisters of hers are shut down and locked in the basement, and each of them have their own quirky personalities. Not to worry, we'll get to see them in action as well. However, instead of fulfilling her original mission, Jenny desires to live a normal life as a regular teenager. Join Jenny as she navigates the challenges of high school while secretly saving the Earth from nefarious threats.
5 o'clock, get a call to go.
The story begins when Tuck accidentally discovers Jenny, a powerful robot, in Dr. Wakeman's lab. He mistakes her for a terrifying robot and tells his brother Brad about it. Meanwhile, Jenny's secret adventures with Brad and Tuck begin, and they have fun together until a hacky sack incident sends a meteor hurtling toward Earth. Jenny saves the day, but Tuck ends up on a wild ride with her in space. After all the action, Dr. Wakeman gives Jenny some time off, and surprisingly, Tuck warms up to her and finds her pretty cool. However, new threats loom as hostile spaceships approach Earth. Brad and Tuck accidentally break Jenny's TV while playing with a toy car. Little did they know that inside the TV there were some mutated lab rats who overheard Dr. Wakeman's lecture. Those sneaky rats decide to seize the opportunity and take over Jenny's body. They put her to sleep and infest her with themselves. Jenny wakes up to the rats taking control of her body, and they disable her systems. Jenny's head remains conscious but detached from her body. The rats plan to attack Dr. Wakeman and the world, but Brad and Tuck intervene with a plan. They stop the rats, and Nora punishes their leader by putting him in red shorts. Jenny is excited to go to Tremerton Town Square Fair with her buddies Brad and Tuck. But her creator, Dr. Wakeman, worries that Jenny's appearance will scare people, so she forbids it. Determined to fit in, Jenny asks Dr. Wakeman to create an exoskin to make her look like a normal girl. But things go haywire when the underdeveloped exoskin causes chaos at the fair, and everyone mistakes her for a monster. In the midst of the panic, Jenny takes off the exoskin and springs into action. She saves the day by stopping a runaway Ferris wheel, showing everyone the true hero that she is. This event marks her revelation to the people of Tremerton and her commitment to protecting them. On her first day at Tremerton High, Jenny Wakeman wants to fit in, so she tries to impress the popular girls, Brit Crust and Tiff Crust, but ends up causing chaos due to her robotic abilities. After several humiliating incidents, Jenny seeks advice from the problem droid, which backfires when Brit uses the school's loudspeakers to embarrass her. Later in chemistry class, Brit and Tiff trick Jenny into causing a fire. Despite their mistreatment, Jenny still saves them in the school from the fire. Eventually, the truth comes out, and Jenny is hailed as a hero for saving the day and maintaining her dignity. A student named Sheldon is bullied by 3 classmates who force him to give him his shop project. Jenny steps in to defend Sheldon and defeats the bullies. He is amazed at her skills and falls for her instantly. He helps her fix a loose bolt in her arm, and they become friends. However, when Sheldon starts showing too much admiration for Jenny, she gets embarrassed and runs away. The Lonely Hearts Club gang causes trouble in Tremerton, and Sheldon tries to impress Jenny by offering inventions to help her. However, his actions lead to chaos, and the gang ends up kidnapping him. Jenny saves Sheldon, but in an attempt to distance herself from him, she hurts his feelings. However, after realizing Sheldon's kindness, Jenny apologizes, and they become friends in the end. Brad and Tuck build a snow fort and playfully attack Jenny with snowballs. A robot from a planet called Cluster Prime appears and invites Jenny to join them, but she declines, which causes the robot to attack her. During a fight with the robot, it takes control of Tuck, leading to chaos. Jenny tricks the robot, shutting it down and saving Brad and Tuck. In the end, Brad and Tuck argue over a stolen hat while Jenny waits for them to stop. The episode concludes with the brothers still bickering. One of Jenny's classmates, Teresa, gets her ears pierced and shows off her new earrings to her friends. Jenny feels left out as she doesn't have ears, so she asks Dr. Wakeman to make her artificial ears. Her mother refuses, so Jenny turns to Sheldon, who eagerly agrees to help her. However, the new ears cause trouble as Jenny's aerodynamics are affected, and she is taunted by a villain called the Lancer. During a battle, Jenny realizes the ears are causing more problems and removes them. She defeats the villain, and Sheldon apologizes apologizes for, although unintentionally, embarrassing her. In the end, Jenny shows off a new nose ring and everyone bursts into laughter together. Tuck and Brad get their hands on jetpacks provided by Jenny as a token of friendship. However, things take a wild turn when they end up accidentally hijacking an alien spaceship and engaging in a chaotic adventure. The situation escalates when the Skyway Patrol gets involved in the pursuit, and Jenny has to intervene to avoid further mayhem. Eventually, things get sorted out, and Brad learns the importance of responsible behavior while Jenny escapes her mother's punishment with some comedic twists. Nora Wakeman gives Jenny advanced eyes with various settings including digital vision, heat vision, X-ray vision, and even sausage vision. However, Jenny removes them due to their insect-like appearance, causing her to lose her vision. She accidentally destroys a cinema, and Brad and Tuck argue over who will be her guide. Later, Jenny discovers invisible robberies in eye product stores and chases the thief with Brad and Tuck. The thief is revealed to be infrared Yvonne, who looks like a massive eyeball. Yvonne is defeated mostly due to his own stupidity, and Jenny rescues Brad and Tuck. Later, Nora surprises her with her old eyes modified to work like the new ones. Nora also gives Jenny a fanny pack resembling a big butt, leading to a heartfelt laughter from Tuck in the end. Sometime later, Jenny finds a briefcase of explosives inside a car on a conveyor belt. She manages to save one case, but the other explodes, leaving her covered in dirt. As a result, she looks terrible and doesn't get invited to Don Prima's party, who is like the most popular guy in school. Tuck suggests asking her mom to fix her up, but Jenny declines. They find a garage with tough workers who gladly help fix Jenny's appearance. She gets a cool makeover with red paint, flames on her feet and hair, red lipstick, and airbrushed cheeks. The school loves her new look, and she gets invited to the party, much to the Crust Cousins' annoyance. So the Crust Cousins hired a mudslinger to ruin Jenny's makeover. He sets all kinds of traps, but Jenny outsmarts him. But when he threatens a puppy with an ink pen bomb, Jenny saves the puppy and her makeover is ruined. The mudslinger reveals that Britt and Tiff hired him, so she gives him her invitation as revenge. Mudslinger crashes Dawn's party, causing chaos, and blames the Crust Cousins for inviting him. Much to everyone's dismay, Brad gets a job at Mesmer's diner, but Jenny is kicked out because robots are not allowed. Jenny tries on her exoskin, a human disguise to fit in. At Mesmer's, she fools everyone, but two green aliens, Letta and Lenny, disrupt the diner and get kicked out. Later, Jenny's exoskin becomes sentient and takes control of her, convincing her to act like a normal girl. When the space bikers return to cause chaos, Jenny struggles to intervene due to the exoskin's influence. Eventually, she breaks free from the exoskin's control and defeats the space bikers. However, the exoskin attaches itself to Mr. Mesmer, seemingly claiming him as its next victim. Sometime later, Tuck continuously summons Jenny for non-emergencies, asking for help with various tasks. Jenny becomes frustrated and refuses to assist him further. Tuck continues to call for her, pretending that there is an emergency by using the story of the boy who cried wolf as a reference. When Tuck's friend Lon joins in the act, pretending to be the wolf, Jenny falls for it and rushes to help, only to discover it was a trick. The episode ends with Jenny chasing Tuck in anger for manipulating her with false emergencies. Later, Jenny battles with a villain named Vexus and encounters a small robot that enters her body and causes her to develop zits on her head. The robot manipulates Jenny's emotions and physical appearance, making her behave erratically and causing her to transform into a monster. Jenny's friends try to help her, but Vexus takes control of her and orders her to destroy the school. Eventually, Dr. Wakeman manages to remove the small robot, and Jenny returns to her normal self. The day is saved, but Jenny is still left feeling slightly embarrassed about her picture for Picture Day, where her belly hatch is seen busted open. Sometime later, Jenny reluctantly convinces Brad to join the football team. During tryouts, Jenny's incredible throwing skills impress the coach, and she becomes the new star quarterback, replacing the rude and obnoxious Jacques. Jenny leads the team to multiple victories, gaining many fans in the process. During the district championship game against Polytech, Brad discovers that Jacques has been cheating by feeding instructions to his team from the sidelines. Jenny disables the cheating device and the Quakers win the game. After the season, Jenny decides to quit football and focus on being herself. Meanwhile, Jacques seeks revenge and uses a robot dog to attack Jenny, but the dog gets distracted by a cat, leaving Jacques to chase after it. Commander Smitus of the cluster obtains powerful pip crystals, but loses them when they accidentally eject from his starship and land on Earth. The crystals end up in a fashion house owned by Jean-Philippe, a designer in Tremerton. The Crust cousins Britt and Tiff, looking for dresses for their prom, discover the crystals and gain superpowers. Smitus disguises himself as a Ukrainian supermodel named Smitlona to retrieve the crystals, but Jenny comes and blows his cover. Jenny then confronts the Crust cousins about the dangerous crystals, but they use their powers to defeat her. However, Jenny tricks them into giving up the crystals by showing them a fashion magazine, declaring the crystals to be out of style. In the end, the Crust cousins store the crystals away with other neglected out-of-style dresses, revealing that their desire to stay fashionable is more important to them than having immense power. In an attempt to prove to Jenny that boy robots are jerks compared to him, Sheldon creates a mechanical suit and becomes the Silver Shell. But things take an unexpected turn when Jenny starts to develop feelings for Silver Shell instead. They even plan a party together, but it's ruined by a giant snake attack. After defeating the snake, Jenny is upset that Silver Shell didn't show up to the party. She proclaims her love for him, leaving Sheldon heartbroken and ruining his chances with her. Poor Sheldon's plan backfires, and he realizes that love can be complicated, especially when it comes to robotic hearts. Jenny becomes curious about dreaming and wants to experience dreams herself. Her mother, Dr. Wakeman, creates a device that allows Jenny to dream while in sleep mode. However, she becomes addicted to dreaming and starts using the dream mode during the day, leading to sleepwalking and losing touch with reality. Brad and Tuck try to help her snap out of it, and they come up with a plan to use water to break the dream mode spell. Eventually, they do manage to awaken Jenny, but her dream chip is stuck, leaving her stuck in her dream mode at the end of the episode. Jenny feels left out because she lacks a nervous system like humans, which enables them to feel sensations such as ticklishness and pain. She learns from her mother that she was originally intended to have an artificial nervous system, but it was withheld due to potential issues in her crime-fighting abilities. Jenny becomes curious and installs robotic nerve endings herself, experiencing ticklishness and pain for the first time. However, the side effects quickly kick in as she fails a test or when she faces a powerful villain named Himcules. In the end, Dr. Wakeman removes Jenny's artificial nerve endings, but she secretly keeps one under her armpit to enjoy ticklishness when she wants to. Despite the setback, Sheldon remains determined to win Jenny's heart and disguises himself as Silver Shell once more. He tries to set up a date with her, but his plan backfires again when Jenny ends up going out with Dawn Prima instead. Undeterred, Sheldon decides to crash their date and attempts various tricks to ruin it, but each one hilariously backfires. However, their date takes an unexpected turn when Jenny accidentally scuffs Dawn Prima's precious Italian shoes, causing it to end quickly. In the end, Jenny becomes fed up with both Silver Shell and Dawn Prima, leaving Sheldon with yet another failed attempt at winning her affection. I mean, you could also just talk to her, you know? Jenny, Brad, and Tuck visit Wisley World, an amusement park where Jenny becomes upset when she sees robots being treated poorly. She decides to set them free. However, chaos ensues as the robots cause problems around town, and Jenny realizes that setting them free was a mistake. The robots start singing an irritating song that causes panic in the city, leading Jenny to take them back to the amusement park. Thinking fast, Jenny loads all the robots into a rocket and sends them to Mars, where they can build their own society and stop bothering humans. However, it's revealed that tiny Martians already live on Mars and are annoyed by the singing robots, leaving our Jenny with a humorous ending of the episode.
5 o'clock, get a call to
It is Christmas Eve, and Jenny takes over the role of Santa when the original Santa gets injured. She delivers presents to children around the world and then celebrates Christmas with Dr. Wakeman, Brad, Tuck, and Sheldon at the North Pole. The day after Christmas, Jenny meets a gloomy child named Todd Sweeney at the mall. Feeling guilty for not delivering his desired Christmas gift, she agrees to be his live robot action figure for a day. Todd comes from a wealthy family but is unhappy despite having many toys. He reveals his love for weapons, which shocks Jenny. At Todd's mansion, he turns Jenny into his robot servant, and she discovers his dark laboratory and his desire for weapons. Todd zaps her with a remote, causing her to pass out briefly. When she regains consciousness, she frees herself and escapes from the mansion. Back in Tremerton, Jenny notices strange behavior from everyone, including her friends and family. She is attacked and pursued by Skyway Patrol and realizes that her actions have made her a public enemy, causing her to flee and hide. She eventually reunites with Sheldon, who explains that she had been gone for almost a year since leaving with Todd. He tells her that she had destroyed major holidays, but Jenny is convinced that Todd was controlling her actions. Jenny confronts Todd at his mansion again, and he admits to controlling her to destroy Christmas. He explains how his parents left him to retire many years ago and how he never had holidays, which is why he wants to make sure everyone else feels the same as him. Jenny regains control of herself and, with the help of her friends, travels to the North Pole to confront Todd. At the North Pole, Todd tries to attack Santa, but Jenny stops him and reveals the truth about his actions. Todd's heart softens when he sees the joy of giving, and he becomes reformed. Jenny and her friends decide to distribute Todd's unwanted toys and presents to the kids of Tremerton to save Christmas. Todd's parents return from their vacation and realize that they were the only thing that Todd truly wants for Christmas, leading to a heartwarming reunion. Sometime later, everyone in Tremerton is affected by a contagious love disease except for Jenny. Wanting to experience love, she meets a new boy robot named Kenny and falls for him, causing jealousy in Sheldon. Jenny and Kenny sneak out for a date at Mesmer's, but their owners, Mrs. Wakeman and Phineas Mogg, forbid them from dating. Despite the restrictions, Jenny and Kenny continue to see each other. However, when Kenny's dog-like traits become apparent, Jenny contemplates breaking up with him. In the end, Sheldon tries to win Jenny's affection, but fails again, and both of them are forbidden from seeing each other. Jenny becomes friends with a group of alien teenage superheroes known as the Teen Team. Together, they take on a giant tadpole that's causing chaos in the town. However, Jenny's Earth friends, Brad and Tuck, feel left out during the heroic escapades. As the team prepares to leave Earth, they come back to help Jenny when she faces a giant frog once again. After the intense battle, Jenny comes to the realization that her true place is with her Earth friends. They make up and enjoy some fun times at the arcade, ending the day with a playful goop fight. Jenny receives an invite to a slumber party from the mean Crust Cousins. Unaware of their malicious intents, Jenny attends the party. The Crust Cousins convince her to join in on pranks around town, causing havoc and chaos. However, Skyway Patrol, who keeps an eye on Jenny, alerts her mother, Dr. Wakeman, about the situation. Jenny soon realizes she's been deceived and decides to put an end to the pranks with Dr. Wakeman's assistance. When Skyway Patrol arrives, they can't find enough evidence to prove Jenny's involvement. Despite her change of heart, Jenny still faces consequences and gets grounded. The episode concludes with a fitting payback as the Crust Cousins find themselves stuck in Town Hall as a result of their actions. In a shocking turn of events, Commander Smitus captures Jenny and brings her to Cluster Prime. Using mind control, he merges her with clustered drones to create a massive doomsday robot. Now under the control of the cluster, Jenny returns to Earth with a mission to destroy her friends and family. However, the rest of the XJ line is awakened by Jenny's crisis and rallies together to save their captive sister. Together, they merge into a giant weapon to defeat Jenny, but are unable to do so. Jenny even absorbs some of her sisters and gains more strength, but in the end, Dr. Nora manages to break her free from the mind control. With her senses regained, she foils Smitus' plan, who escapes in a rift swearing revenge. The episode ends with Dr. Nora pushing all the sisters back into the basement. During Valentine's Day, Jenny really wants to attend the dance, but her mom, Dr. Wakeman, forbids her due to potential emergencies. Determined to go, she asks the robot Silver Shell to be her date. Unbeknownst to Jenny, Sheldon, who secretly loves her, disguises himself as Silver Shell to spend time with her at the dance. Trouble brews when the space bikers show up, causing havoc at the dance. Sheldon as Silver Shell keeps Jenny safe from danger, but she gets upset with him for seemingly ruining her special night. However, amidst the chaos, Jenny realizes her true Prince Charming is the nerdy hall monitor boy, and they share a sweet and unexpected moment together. This one time, Jenny's nemesis, Krakus, cunningly disassembles her into pieces and scatters them around the world. With her loyal friends Brad, Tuck, and Sheldon, they embark on a global adventure facing challenges and humorous situations along the way as they race against time to retrieve Jenny's body parts. United in their quest, they cleverly outwit Krakus, gather all the pieces, and celebrate their victory before joyfully putting Jenny back together again. Jenny becomes tired of her mom's training and decides to head to the mall for a break. Little does she know that a formidable robot named Armageddroid has emerged, posing a grave threat to the world. Jenny courageously confronts him in a battle, but ends up severely damaged in the process. Meanwhile, Dr. Wakeman reveals that she was the creator of Armageddroid during the First Intergalactic War. She tried to stop him from his mission to destroy all weapons, but her efforts fail. Jenny is reassembled, and through her mother's wise advice, she gains newfound determination to face Armageddroid once more. Jenny takes on Armageddroid again, and this time she devises a plan using a self-destructing bomb and defeats the powerful foe to save the day. Meet Kilgore, a tiny wind-up toy robot with a tag that hilariously reads "Villain" attached to his head. Despite his efforts to act like a fearsome villain, everyone in Tremerton finds Kilgore utterly adorable. It is hilarious because Kilgore keeps trying to convince everyone and himself that he is evil and powerful, but nobody takes him seriously because he's just too cute. Like, look at him. Kilgore wants to impress the cluster and become a respected villain, so he keeps bothering Jenny, demanding that she surrender to him. But here's the catch. Kilgore can't actually hurt her, so she tries to ignore him. But he won't leave her alone, driving her crazy. Eventually, she feels bad for the poor guy and pretends to surrender just to get him off her back. When the cluster shows up, they totally diss Kilgore, taking away his wind-up key and not giving him any credit for capturing Jenny. But surprise, Kilgore's fans from Tremerton come to his rescue, and Jenny helps him fight off the cluster. Despite the defeat, Kilgore still dreams of being a villain and capturing Jenny one day. In a special episode, Tremerton celebrates its 300-year anniversary, but Queen Vexus and her cluster drones attack again, causing massive destruction. Jenny is blamed for the chaos and shunned by everyone, even her own mother. Feeling unappreciated, Jenny accidentally teleports to Cluster Prime, a peaceful robot paradise. There, she befriends a robot girl named Vega and her robotic counterparts of Brad, Tuck, and Sheldon. Jenny discovers that the Cluster people have been deceived by Vexus's propaganda, and she disguises herself to help them secretly. However, she soon becomes the target of Cluster forces and must face dangerous traps. Cluster forces led by Vexus, Krakus, and Smitus attack Earth and enslave the humans. Tremerton's citizens hope for Jenny's rescue, but she's trapped on Cluster Prime due to the previous tricentennial incident. Brad becomes a leader with childish pranks and Tuck's help, while Dr. Wakeman and Sheldon create a portal device to confront Vexus. On Cluster Prime, Jenny discovers the truth about Vexus, stealing the citizens' golden chips, and frames her for it. With the help of Vega, Vexus's daughter and crown princess, Jenny returns the chips and exposes Vexus's deception. The Cluster Prime citizens revolt, making Vega the new queen. Back on Earth, Jenny returns just in time to defeat Smitus and save the planet from destruction. She is welcomed home with cheers and love from everyone in Tremerton, including her mother and friends. This one time, Jenny gets fed up with wearing the same outfit and decides to explore different styles. The Crust cousins mock her, leading Jenny to master fashion transformations. She outdoes the cousins in various themed outfits, but they plot to humiliate her by making her look overweight. Jenny tries to get thin, but ends up removing all her weapons instead. The space bikers return, and Jenny, weaponless, fights them with a lot of difficulty. Tuck saves the day with a mecha version of Jenny, and together they defeat the space bikers. Brad decides to follow a treasure map discovered by Tuck, leading him to an underground lair. There, he meets Melody and her geobiologist father, Dr. Locus, who claims not to be evil. But things take a dark turn when Dr. Locus traps Brad, and Jenny comes to his rescue. Unfortunately, Jenny also gets captured and immobilized. However, luckily, with the help of Melody's robotic hand, Brad manages to save Jenny and they make their daring escape from the underground lair. Back on the surface, Jenny calls Brad her hero and the episode ends on a positive note. In this dramatic turn of events, the teen team has disbanded and Misty returns to Earth to spend time with Jenny. But her appearance at school attracts teasing from Britt and Tiff. Feeling hurt and scorned, Misty convinces Jenny to retaliate with a prank war against the Crust cousins. However, things quickly spiral out of control as Misty becomes obsessed with seeking revenge. Her thirst for power drives her to go overboard with pranks, crossing the line into sadistic territory. The situation escalates and Misty's actions lead to her getting expelled from school due to the severity of her pranks. And thus concludes the season 2 of the show.
5 o'clock, get a call to go play.
One time, a group of comet-obsessed aliens mistake Jenny for their comet goddess, leading them to worship her relentlessly. At first, Jenny finds it amusing, of course, but their constant attention soon becomes overwhelming. When Jenny confronts the aliens, they promise to leave her alone after one final ceremony. However, their wish to turn Earth into a comet inadvertently puts the planet in peril as they unknowingly pull the sun towards it. Determined to save Earth, Jenny uses the same ceremony in the opposite direction, averting the disaster and hurling the alien spaceship into an elliptical orbit around the sun, transforming them into a comet. Though Earth is saved, everyone realizes that Sheldon, unbeknownst to Jenny and the others, accidentally stowed away with the comet-obsessed aliens. Jenny was just finishing up explaining to Tuck where babies come from, leaving him and Brad shocked. As they head to their schools, they encounter a mysterious breeze and a peculiar elderly man who claims to be Sheldon from 75 years in the future. Initially skeptical, Jenny and the others learn that Sheldon was abandoned in space after an encounter with aliens. He shares his adventurous journey before finally returning to Earth. Jenny tries to make things right by using a black hole to make Sheldon younger, but it backfires, leaving him extremely old. Then they use Nora's invention to reverse the aging process, inadvertently making Sheldon a baby. Jenny comes up with a plan involving space pirates, and through a series of events, Sheldon is ultimately restored to his original age. Despite some initial anger, they all share a heartwarming moment as the episode ends. Jenny desperately desires the expensive music flair. To earn the money, she attempts various jobs but fails at all of them. Tempted by an unattended box containing the music at a store, she succumbs to stealing it. Jenny disguises herself as Ruby Rocket to escape the pursuing crowd, but her guilt eventually leads her to try returning the stolen item. Unfortunately, her gesture is misunderstood by her mother, Dr. Wakeman, leading to a chaotic encounter with an angry mob. Jenny eventually confesses the truth to protect her mother, and as a consequence, she is forced to work at the music factory, learning valuable lessons about honesty, integrity, and the folly of chasing fads. As Misty returns to Tremerton, Jenny becomes complacent and lets her take over the superhero duties, but their clash of principles and Misty's mercenary nature lead to a heated conflict. Misty reveals her villainous tendencies, caring only for profit and disregarding the well-being of the citizens. She nearly allows the city to be destroyed, showing no remorse, and even threatens innocent lives to defeat a monster. Jenny confronts her about their friendship, but Misty's greed and anger drive her away, stating that she won't harm Jenny only because no one is paying her for it. She flies away, never to be seen in the show again. Jenny, Brad, Sheldon, and Tuck are having a fun day at the beach, watching dolphins and enjoying the ocean. However, Tuck's obsession with video games causes Jenny to lose half of her battery, leading them to crash on a deserted island. Jenny expresses her concern about running out of power, but Brad and Sheldon brush it off and explore the island. They encounter mysterious figures, including one that Sheldon believes to be Albert Einstein. The group finds a building with an electric fence, but they are confronted by historical animatronics inside, leading to chaos and danger. They manage to escape and confront the creator of animatronics, Uncle Wisley, who is oblivious to the danger they pose. The episode ends with Jenny saving her friends and outsmarting the animatronics, leaving Wisley depressed on a raft as his creations surround him. Brad becomes lonely when Jenny takes Tuck to a cockroach wrestling match. He spends time with Melody, the daughter of Dr. Locus, and starts developing feelings for her. Jenny, feeling jealous and suspicious of Melody, spies on them and accuses Melody of being evil. A battle between Jenny and Melody ensues, revealing Melody's true form as a robot. However, it is discovered that Melody only wanted to live a normal life and had no evil intentions. The real cause of the destruction turns out to be Carol the champion cockroach, who had a crush on Brad. In the end, Jenny apologizes to Brad and Melody leaves, but not before expressing her love for him with a glowing heart-shaped spark of energy. Jenny invites her distant aunt, Wisteria Wakeman, over for a visit and discovers she has a cousin named Glenn Wakeman. However, Jenny soon realizes that her mother, Dr. Wakeman, and her sister, Wisteria, don't exactly get along. Despite the family tension, Jenny and Glenn quickly become friends and come up with a clever plan to bring their mothers closer together. They stage a pretend scenario where they act as if they are captured by a fusion mech plant monster. This ruse leads to Jenny's aunt and mom working together to save their children and put aside their bickering. Through teamwork and a bit of playful trickery, the two sisters find common ground and mend their relationship. In one episode, the citizens' food comes to life and wreaks havoc in the town. Jenny, as usual, steps in to save the day and stop the rampaging food. The president of Mechanique Cuisine, Seymour Heinz, takes responsibility for the unauthorized shipment of the food and carts it away. Meanwhile, the Skyway Patrol lieutenant becomes increasingly jealous of Jenny's heroic actions and tries to arrest her for minor offenses. When Jenny's mom, Nora, is arrested, Jenny, Brad, and Tuck attempt to break her out of prison, but she refuses, accepting that they have operated outside of the law. Jenny leaves feeling frustrated, but when the food monsters return and threaten the Skyway Patrol base, Jenny springs into action to save the lieutenant and the general. She successfully defeats the food monsters and earns praise from the general. Nora is granted a full pardon, and the lieutenant is stripped off his badge and uniform for his actions. In the end, Seymour Hines faces the consequences for his role in the food monster incident, and the episode concludes on a humorous note as the lieutenant is left standing naked after losing his uniform. Jenny wakes up in a mysterious place with Kilgore as her only companion. To her surprise, she discovers that Kilgore has some villainous capabilities as he reveals that he reconstructed Armageddroid and trapped both Jenny and himself inside the giant robot. Forced to work together, Jenny and Kilgore must find a way out of the Armageddroid and defeat him. Working as a team, they manage to find an escape route, and Jenny cleverly tricks Armageddroid while Kilgore distracts him, leading to their victory against the menacing robot. Despite their successful cooperation, Kilgore remains committed to his villainous ways and insists that he will eventually capture Jenny. Jenny starts school excited, but quickly becomes frustrated and wants to get expelled. When her mother suggests homeschooling, Jenny reluctantly accepts. At home, she tries to cheat on a test, but her plans fail, leading to valuable lessons from her mother. Realizing the importance of education, Jenny decides to return to school with a changed attitude. Seeing Jenny's newfound discipline after homeschooling, the vice principal offers Mrs. Wakeman a job as a substitute teacher. Vladimir, Mudslinger, Lancer, and the Mad Hammer brothers unite as the Legion of Evil to seek revenge on Jenny and carry out their master crime. Unfazed by their B-class villain status, Jenny intentionally allows them to capture her, underestimating their capabilities. However, her overconfidence leads to dire consequences as the Legion restrains and destroys her into several parts. Meanwhile, they go on to steal precious artifacts from a museum, causing chaos and destruction in their wake. Despite her initial defeat, Jenny proves her resilience and resourcefulness. With the unexpected help of some unlikely allies, she manages to defeat the Legion of Evil and save the day. As Sheldon watches a romance film, he gets the idea to make Jenny jealous by paying Teresa to be his girlfriend. However, Jenny's loose screw in her ponytail interferes with her auditory systems, and she seeks Sheldon's help, only to find him flaunting his relationship with Teresa. The plan backfires when Jenny asks out a popular boy named Sebastian, and they agree to a double date with Sheldon and Teresa. To afford the date, Sheldon puts his prized possessions, including a time machine and a mechanical flower he made for Jenny, up for sale. At the restaurant, Sebastian gives Jenny the flower, improving her hearing and making her happy. However, misunderstandings and lies lead to Jenny storming off, leaving Sheldon thinking that he's been rejected. In the end, Sheldon realizes his mistake, but Jenny misinterprets his explanation, leaving both of them in confusion. At the science fair, Dr. Wakeman's experiment goes haywire and destroys the fair. Later that night, her XJ series robots start attacking her. Jenny fights off her rogue sisters one by one. They discover that Dr. Locus, a villain, is controlling the robots with a remote. He forces Jenny to attack her mother, but she pretends to be under his control and eventually defeats him. They repair the XJ sisters and everything returns back to normal, except for Nora's tiger swallowing her whole, leaving her asking if Jenny forgot to feed him. Whoops, and this was my life as a teenage robot from beginning to end in detail. What do you guys think? Was it among your favorites when you